Well, it's finally arrived. Hello everyone, and this is, I guess, the first video in my build for the 1350, the original series Enterprise from round 2 Polar Lights. And I've been waiting for a while for the Deluxe Accessory Kit to come out. It has finally come out. It came in a few days ago, and I haven't had a chance to get going on this model. I needed to finish up the Defiant, and I've been working on the Katinga. So now I've got this in, so I'm going to go ahead and begin the process of working on the 1350. So let me open this box up. Okay, this is what's in there. First thing is the lighting instruction guide that goes through and shows you all the different type of connectors and what they connect to which type of LED strips and how to do those, and information on the circuit boards right here. There are 2 of them in this kit. And then it goes through the Bussard collector install with the circuit boards with the LEDs for those, and lighting in the nacelles if you choose to light those up as an option. Lighting on the hangar bay, and this kit includes clear parts for the hangar bay, the dorsal and the upper saucer with the clear bridge, which is included in the Deluxe Accessory Kit, and the lower saucer, and the secondary hull, or what's also called the engineering hull, on the ship, and tells you where to put the boards, all the lights. So that's quite nice. Then we have, what's this? We have the weathering decals installation sheet for the weather decals. And weathering the ship will make it look a lot like the studio model. And those decals are right here, including the photo-etch. So I'm real happy with that. And then little instruction sheet on how to do the photo-etch. Even though it says lighting installation instructions, it's actually about the photo-etch. And then here's the kit itself. And here are the 2 circuit boards for the kit. And let's open this one up. Take a look at this. There's one. And let me see if I can get the other one out of the bag. And here's the other one, and some light tape for that. And then we have a whole bunch of connectors, wiring with all marked and labeled with different letters on them that should correspond to the instruction sheets with the pre-done connectors. And here are the Bussard circuit boards with their LEDs. Let's take one of these out real quick. One for each one. Very nice, clean circuit board. And then we have the motors for the Bussards, the spinning fans on those. And then we have a sprue of clear parts, which includes the hangar bay sections and sections for the nacelles, the clear bridge. Very nice, all packaged up in their own package. The normal round 2 paperwork that comes in all their kits, and then we have colored sprues for the Christmas tree lights that go in the Bussards, and some other items in there. And then we have the power supply, which I believe this is a 12-volt power supply. So that'll power up the whole kit. So I'm going to get started on this. If you're interested in a really good detailed review of this kit, check out Modelman Tom's YouTube channel. He did a review on the entire 1350 Enterprise and the lighting kit as well, and it was excellent. And you can also find more information online on Round 2's website, and there's also a lot of good threads about this model kit on sci-fi-model-action.com you may want to check out. And check out TrekWorks' YouTube channel, for he already completed his first 1350 Enterprise, and that was I believe the second pilot version that he did, and he did that with all his own custom lighting, so check that out. Okay, I'm working on the Bussard collectors, and this is the electronics board for that, the PCB that goes into the secondary hull. Here's the incoming power, which is 12 volt, and I've got it wired all the way up into the housing. The motor is installed in the back. The other PCB board is installed here for the Bussard effect with the LEDs, and that looks like this. And that's installed inside here, and I went ahead and put the fan part on. What's missing are the colored Christmas light pieces of plastic that go around the inside of this right here that give it the different colors, because these are all white LEDs. So let me go ahead and pop that in place, and I'll power it up so you can take a quick look at that, so we can see what that looks like. And let me take that off, turn that off, and I'll pull the fan motor, the fan off, set that aside, and then we'll plug it back up for just a moment so you can see the lights and their pattern blinking. Now those, as I said, those get some of the colored Christmas tree type bulbs that go on there. Just like this part right here. Let me back up so and get this to focus. This is the amber color ones. There's also red and green and blue for the other parts, but these go in here like so, and after they're frosted and everything, they'll help add more color to that. So this part right here on the actual studio model had pieces of mirror glued to it on the original studio model, and this of course had Christmas lights blinking besides the fan motors, and they actually had some metal fan pieces that were revolved around. So what I'm doing is following the kit instructions, that you either paint this piece in chrome or put metal foil on there. It would be nice if I had some little pieces of plastic mirror, but I can't find any locally, and I can order it, but I just don't want to wait for that. So I'm going to cover this in the metal foil tape that's used by air conditioning installers on ductwork, for example, and cover this all the way around, and then we'll see what that looks like. These are the little amber Christmas light bulbs, pieces of plastic that go in the Bussards, and what I've done here is I've sanded one of them down. The kit instructions suggest that you use steel wool or sandpaper or dull coat them, and the one up here on the top is obviously sanded, and the one down here on the bottom has not been sanded yet. And hopefully you can see, the camera will show the differences of what that's looking like. There is quite a bit of a difference in terms of the light coming out of it. Sanding is obviously much better. So I'm going to go ahead and sand all of them down for this particular Bussard and go ahead and install those. And then we'll move on to the other colored inserts for the Bussards as well. So I've been sanding these and started off using some sandpaper. And it's actually a laborious process to sand these with sandpaper. So this one I just finished sanding up with my Dremel. So I'm going through and I'm going to sand all these with the Dremel tool and just lightly polish them over with the finer grit sandpaper. That way I can get through these much faster. Otherwise, if you're doing them all by hand on the sandpaper, it does by itself. It does take a long time, given their shapes and everything, to sand them all out. Well, now they're all sanded up. I use the Dremel with the grinding wheel, the very faint grind on there. I don't know, the grit's not very much on that grinding wheel. And then I went back with a, I think this is a 450 grit sandpaper, and I went back and polished them up with that sanding paper. So I've got them all done, so let me go ahead and install them into this particular Bussard, and we'll get the other pieces too. And here they are, assembled up. This one on the right side, the part has a slight warp in it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to correct that or not. I've worked on it a little bit, and it's not as bad as it originally was. But overall, this is a very cool effect. This is obviously before any frosting takes place. I also have the Paragrafix fan blades to install on these pieces, so they'll give the shadow lines. So those are looking pretty good, so I guess the next step is going to be to go ahead and install the fan blades. I'm going to have to anneal those. Okay, this is the fan part of the Bussard on the front of the nacelles. And I have ordered from Paragrafix the kit that they have that goes with the 1350 original series Enterprise, which is not what comes in the deluxe kit from Polar Lights Round 2. This is the kit that comes with, that you get from Paragrafix, that adds even more brass photo etch parts. And one of the nice things about this kit are these blades right here, and I've already cut some out, which are these right here, which when applied to the Bussard collector provides nice light blocking for this when it spins around. And you can see I've already glued one in place, and I'm going to be cutting out some more of these. Now, when you do work with photo etch, it's really important to have a very sharp knife, and I can't remember what blade this is, perhaps a number 11, I'm not for sure, or 7, but this flat edge blade that I use to separate these parts. And you just push down on the little section that's holding the parts together, and you can separate them just like that. And after you get those done, separated out, they'll look like this, and you can see the little tabs on there. Well, those little tabs you can file off a diamond file, and you can go out and you can buy the Tamiya's diamond files. I think Paul talks about on Paragrafix website, or you can get stuff at Harbor Freight. Well, before I ever saw that video, I had picked these up at Harbor Freight to work on some photo etch parts for my refit. So I'm using that, and what you do is you use this and you sand those tabs down, one thing that's very important that you need to remember when working with photo etch is you don't sand at a 90-degree angle to the part, you sand in line with the part. So in this case, I'd be sanding this direction in the lengthwise of the part to get rid of those tabs, and that's what I'll do. And when I'm done with that, I'll anneal these. Now, normally I have a torch that I use, and I'm sure a lot of hobbyists that work with photo etch probably have one of these too, but I'm out of butane for this torch. So in lieu of not running out tonight to Walmart to get that, I've actually tried, because these parts are so small and thin, I've actually annealed this first one that I glued on here, actually using a candle, which I didn't expect to work, but it actually worked perfectly fine. And so I'm going to go ahead and anneal these, and you do that by basically putting them in the fire and heating them up. And then you get them as hot as you can get them, and you take them out and you lay them down here. I have this ceramic tile that I lay them on, and let them cool. Do not put them in water or anything to try, or under cold air or anything from a AC. Let them cool down naturally, and when you do that, it'll remove the springiness of the brass and then allow you to bend it and to get it on here. And what I did is I rolled this part that I've already put on here, this particular one, I rolled it around the barrel of my knife here, so it would be a nice circular shape. And then I used, normally people will tell you use CA, but I use micro metal foil adhesive from Microscale Industries, because it's a lot more forgiving than CA. And one of the nice things about this product is it does dry clear, and if you put it on real thin, it doesn't fill in the gaps on the photo etch. And on the kit photo etch parts that come with this kit, there is some photo etch, which I'll show in a few minutes, that have some grills on them, and CA would just fill in those grills. But this, being when it dries perfectly clear, and it can be applied really thin and holds parts on really well. So I personally recommend using this for really thin parts, or parts with a lot of very fine grid lines, detail that you don't want to fill up with super glue with CA. So let me go ahead and sand down a few of these, and I'll anneal them up, and we'll move on and work on this Bussard fan and try to get all these put in place. Do a little bit more here for you. So they're free on that side. I'm sure there are people out there that do this all the time with a lot of brass parts and much better at it than I am. I do not claim to be an expert, but I do like working with brass parts, and Paragrafix produces some of the best for sci-fi kits I've ever seen. Paul does a wonderful job with his kit products. They're very, very nice, and add a lot of detail to your build. It'd be really worth it. So the rest of those are, well, let's see here. I think there's one over here I can safely cut off. The rest of it will have to be filed down slightly. There we go. So you see the little pieces I cut off of that. And now these are all free, and I'll go ahead and file those down. Okay, well, I'm just going to do a little bit more filing here on this piece. I'm going to support it with my finger from underneath and just take that tab down, what's left of it. There we go. Just almost good enough. Let me go ahead and work on this a little more. I generally don't like doing it two different directions. I generally like pulling only one. It gives me more control that way. I suppose you could do it the other way, but I'm not experienced enough with With doing this to take the risk, and especially these little bitty parts, I don't want to take a chance on them. So let's see there, and yeah, that's not too bad. It needs a little bit more, but not much. And we'll flip it over here and do the other side, which doesn't need much at all. Just have to have patience with it and don't get in a hurry. That's one thing that's very important when you're filing these guys down. See just a little bit more there. There, that's good. Now let's flip it over and see about the other side. There, yeah, that's very good. So we'll go ahead and do the rest of these, and we'll have them all done and have at least one Bussard done. Okay, just a quick little update here. I didn't realize this, and I should have, because all these parts are the same. After you get them cut out of the fret and cut out from each other, the best thing to do is, instead of sanding, trying to file them, I don't know why I keep saying sanding, but file them separately, put them all together, and then file them as one piece, and it works much better. You can get through it much faster because there's a little more stability, so you can apply a little more pressure, and you can sand these down much faster than doing them one at a time. I don't know what I was thinking. Obviously I wasn't thinking. So yeah, that one's almost already done. And then a little more on top. Just a little bit more. And there we go, we got them all sanded. They're saying it again, filed, got them all filed as one piece. So there we go. Well, now here's the Bussard without those photo-etch parts for the fan. And here it is with the photo-etch parts installed. And I think it makes quite a bit of a difference. It looks very much like the original studio model. That is really cool. I'm really glad that Paragrafix and Paul have brought these out, because these are absolutely wonderful. And if you're going to light this kit, and you're going to get the motors, at least in the Deluxe Accessory Kit from Polar Light, then at the very least, I think it's absolutely necessary that you consider getting the Paragrafix photo-etch part kit for this, for the fans, fan blades alone. That is just, I think that's just absolutely outstanding. And once that fan blade gets frosted, I think that's going to look very much like the studio model, because it's very close right there. So I think that's a definite go. And you should definitely consider getting the Paragrafix photo-etch kit from www.paragrafix.biz. It's also available from Cult TV Man and other modeling sources. And these right here, these little blades, I think is worth the whole kit. Now, besides the photo-etch set, you also get these little silhouettes that you can place on the windows. of the Enterprise so that it will appear that there are people on the inside. There's those. And then you also get these wonderful little decals made by JT Graphics and sold exclusively in this kit from Paragrafix of the bridge monitors, all the view screens and the consoles, because in the photo-etch set you also get little silhouette brass people. You get railings for the bridge that you can install. You get these view screen options for depending upon which version of the bridge that you build. The same thing with all these window blockouts. I mean the view screen blockouts for light blocking, and the decals go on top of that and everything. So you can light that up and have all the little view screens wrapping around the bridge all lit up on the part. Besides, you get a host of other little parts on here for that. So this is definitely worth it. I would definitely, when I build this kit again, I'm definitely going to get more of this because this is outstanding. But just this effect alone with those fan blades, I think makes the whole kit worth it. Just that right there. Thanks for watching and happy modeling.